After the shooting of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, I was curious about how many times police shoot people in the state of Florida. And so September of 2014, I asked every law enforcement agency in the state for 6 years worth of records generated any time an officer fired a gun and somebody was injured or killed. The stack of paper is taller than me. We've probably examined 50,000 documents to include somewhere in the neighborhood of 775 reports which spell out the scenarios in which 830 Florida residents were shot. It was kind of like pulling teeth. It was very difficult to get some agencies to cough up records. It's taken over 2 years to finally get them in, but once we got them in, we began to analyze the reports. We created a big database. When there's a police shooting, it's often in a vacuum. We don't know how to respond to it because we have this sense of maybe injustice, especially the more controversial shootings, but we don't have the science, we don't have the numbers to be able to offer context for these shootings. And so this was the mission. Very basically, let's take count, like a very accurate count of police shootings, and then let's look at the numbers to see if there are trends. And ultimately to ask that one very basic question, are there ways to do this where people don't have to die? One of the most important lessons for me is the idea that somebody needs to keep count of this. I feel like there should be a central agency, whether that's on the state level or the federal level, that at the very least keeps count of these kinds of things. Ideally, they would take into account demographics and situational information so that policies and practices for all police agencies can be designed to preserve the sanctity of human life. There are not any incidents that we looked at in these 770 cases in which 830 people were shot, which clearly spell out that this officer intended to murder someone. That's not the case at all so far as we could find. What is the case are, in some cases, lack of training, just the rush to judgment. There are cases in which shootings are preventable, and it's very, if you slow down and you look at it frame by frame, a lot of these needn't have happened.